If it's one thing that former President Trump is obsessed with, it's crowd sizes. We saw that during his inauguration. Sean Spicer saying, I have the biggest crowd ever. Biggest crowd in the world for any inauguration, period. So now, crowd size. Well, it turns out that Donald Trump was also impressed with the crowd size on January 6th. You know, the same crowd that then went to go and attack the Capitol on that day. So now, what was going on when that in the White House when this was going on? What was happening? What was Donald Trump doing? Well, it turns out he was watching and cheering from the sidelines. In fact, according to a new book, Trump watched on a television in the White House private dining room as the mob of his supporters stormed the Capitol while chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." This is according to ABC News chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl in the new book, Betrayal, the final act of the Trump show. He reportedly enjoyed, Trump did, what he saw and argued with aides who wanted him to put out a message to his supporters to stop rioting. So now think about that. This guy's watching on TV this entire thing unfold. People fighting with cops and breaking into the building, breaking glass and chanting about, hanging the vice president. And he's like, oh, goody, I love this. This is wonderful. Yeah, let's watch. No, stop writing. Why would I want them to stop? I wouldn't want to stop. No, of course not. Keep them going. Keep them going. In fact, his aides eventually get him to try to stop, but it took several. You all remember the tape of him, trying to tell the rioters, "Go home. I love you. You're very special." Turns out that took several takes to get right. In fact, an aide who was present said Trump had to tape the message several times before they thought he got it right. That's not the only disturbing thing. Republican House Leader Kevin McCarthy had also spoke to Mr. Trump during the riot and told him, I just got evacuated from the Capitol. There were shots fired right off the House floor. You need to make this stop. Now, it's the same Kevin McCarthy, which, by the way, who now downplays this entire thing. But when it was happening, he was like, oh my God, there are shots going on. Shots. Oh my God, I gotta get out of here. Donald Trump, save me. But Trump, according to a source familiar with the call, responded by saying, they're just more upset than you because they believe it more than you do, Evan. He had absolutely no problem. He knew what was going on. Again, they planned what was going on. Steve Bannon, of course, was there. Had helped plan this entire thing. He knew what was going to happen. And he was cheering it on, eating hamburgers, drinking Diet Coke inside the White House and watching the crowd. He wasn't in any danger. Of course not. Watch with glee. I mean, holy shit. So, and again, this is while his vice president was being threatened, which he didn't give a damn about. Mike Pence, I barely know him, coffee boy. What are you talking about? Disgruntled aide. Yeah, wouldn't do the election for me. Wouldn't change the election. Certification. You realize he didn't actually have the power to do that, right? He actually didn't have the power. There's no constitutional vehicle for doing that. This is a ceremonial thing. All the states have already certified the election results. And so all he did was just, repeated what the states said. Oh, all these are certified. Great. He didn't actually have the power to say, no, we can't do that. No, we're not going to certify the election. Therefore, Donald Trump's still president. Which would mean that, of course, if that's true, if the vice president has that power, then are you saying that Kamala Harris can then just appoint whatever president she wants? That's weird because knowing Kamala Harris, wouldn't she appoint herself? Again, they have no idea what they're talking about. No idea at all. And yet they still They still believe this stuff. It's ridiculous. And again, he didn't care at all if they had gotten their hands on Pence. I mean, imagine if that had happened. Doesn't care at all. Doesn't give a goddamn. And by the way, the only people he did care about are people that served him. For example, he recently sent out birthday wishes to Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed while breaking into the Capitol. Now, I don't like the fact that she was shot and killed. That sucks. But if you looked at her social media leading up to the riot, you kind of knew what she was signing up for. And I hate to say it, but it feels like she martyred herself for Trump. And that's sad. And again, I feel bad for her in that regard, because you had somebody who, and again, you look at some of the stuff that she's went through, that she's been through in her life, the difficulties and things like that. And I guess you could understand how somebody that could be radicalized, but then to throw your life away for Trump, I mean, that's just the ultimate, just terrible ending. Terrible ending. And yet Trump saw this, was like, yes. Yeah, well, I want to see more of it. Everything for me. You all martyr yourself for me. Yeah. Because he doesn't give a damn about anyone except for himself. He said he'd walk with them, and like any autocrat, went back to his bunker to watch it all unfold, because he's a coward. Wasn't willing to put himself on the line, of course. But his followers, well, his followers are fodder. They're expendable. And he says, look how many there are. Like a big crowd, greatest crowd. Now, I said that the main danger of this man is how he can inspire others to do violence on his behalf. And he knows that he can inspire people. He knows that he can say anything, and there's no consequences for him. What consequences has he seen? Any? No. What about the Capitol rioters? I've been talking about how the Capitol rioters have been, in court cases, and basically have all had a slap on the wrist. They've all been able to plead down to, fines, house arrest, or slap on the wrist a couple of months, and that's it. No consequences. Incredibly light sentences. You're kidding me. No, they're going to do it again. God forbid this man get back into power, because it will get worse. Things will get worse. They're going to escalate. And once again, cable news is still calling things 50-50 and not actually talking about the real threat, and letting Republican congressmen make excuses and still deny that, that there was a coup, or even deny that the election was fair and that there was no real pushback. That's a problem. And the fact that he's able to run again, and just might in 2024, is already doing rallies. It's incredibly dangerous. And what's even worse is if he gets a Republican Congress. So this is very, very concerning to me, and should be concerning to all of you. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.